This is Pat Soundbites Unplugged. Unplugged. The podcast where all the artists go to tell it as it is. Careers, music, tours, and more. And here's your host, the man that refuses to eat squid, Pat Calamari.
Pat Calamari here, your host of Pat Soundbites Unplugged. Hopefully everyone is doing well. Wearing your mask, being safe, all is good. The numbers keep rising on my podcast. We are very close to 10,000 downloads worldwide. Thank you very, very much. Don't forget, I got a Patreon page. You can join the fan club. You can get a sneak peek on what's going on, who I'm going to be talking with this week. Exclusive content from the artists, all really good stuff. Episode number 75 is a pretty good one, I got to say. She is the daughter of a great legend. She is the daughter of the blues, Shirley King, the daughter of legend B.B. King. And Shirley has put out an album, Shirley King, Blues for a King, which was released last Friday on Cleopatra Records in L.A., and she's got some selection of songs that she chose, and she's got some selection of artists that are featured on these tracks pretty much separately, except for Joe Louis Walker, who is featured on 2 tracks. And speaking of Joe Louis Walker, and I owe Shirley an apology, I said in the chat, and I met Joe, and I've chatted with Joe a few times, and I do some pretty good preparation and when I'm going to talk to folks or meet them. And I found that let me back up. I said to her that Joe Louis Walker's godfather is B.B. King, and I stand corrected. It's Joe's daughter, Bernice, whose godfather is B.B. King. But still in all, there is a connection. So I was wrong. I had to make the correction. I have no problem with that. But there's still a connection, and you'll hear it from Shirley, that Joe has reached out to her and after BB died, and she talks about all that stuff. It's pretty funny. It's a really good story by Shirley King. Hear it from the woman who's right there growing up, watching Dad go on tour, and her love for him and the love for the music. So episode 75, sit back, enjoy Shirley King. She is incredible. And I've started already playing tracks off of the album. So if you enjoy it, please share it. Don't hold back. Tell your friends. And live, love, and laugh a lot, because life is way too short. Here's my good friend, Shirley King.
Hi, my name is Shirley King, better known as Daughter of the Blues, and you are listening to Pat Soundbites. Hey, it's all unplugged, y'all. Check it out.
WBXO Classic Rock redefined in conjunction with Pat Soundbites Unplugged podcast. Well, you know how much I love the blues, and I got a great show lined up today. It's not always easy being the child of a legend, but being the child of blues singing B.B. King, well, that takes it to a whole nother level. And it's an honor and a privilege to have on our phone today Shirley King, the eldest daughter of B.B., who has the title Daughter of the Blues. She takes the notoriety in stride because she's an outstanding singer and performer in her own right and capable of singing any kind of music that comes her way. Shirley, how are you? And thank you so much for your time today.
I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. I cannot believe how blessed I am. I'm out here while everybody is crying the blues. I'm smiling with the blues because I think that God has opened up doors for me that I never thought would ever happen. When my father was here, I saw him open up for him, but now that he's gone, it looks like people say, well, let's give Shirley King a little bit. And I'm just feeling so blessed to have the CD out here where I can talk to people, where they can get to know Shirley King, B.B. King's daughter, not B.B. King's daughter, what's her name? For many years, I've had to live like that. And it was all right. I was happy to live like that because it kept me working, being B.B. King's daughter. It didn't hurt me at all.
Well,
I'm not sad about it, but it's good now to be standing on my own two legs because that's what my father wanted me to do. That's what my father told me to do. Told me don't coattail on his name. Come out here and make a name for myself.
well, amen to that, Shirley. And he's got to be super proud of you looking down. Shirley's newest and maybe her best album yet, Shirley King, Blues for a King, has been released in L.A., based from Cleopatra Records last Friday. And I've been listening to it for the last week, and I love every bit of it, Shirley. It is, you've done one heck of a job, my friend. That is awesome stuff there.
Oh, thank you so much. You know what? I'm beginning to think I'm dreaming. So when I get through talking to you, I'm going to try to shake myself woke so I can say, let me call him back again and ask him what he said. You know, I am just like, I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now, Pat. My head is getting so big. I'm going to have to get a wheelchair. I am feeling like, actually what Cleopatra have done for me is made me into a blue rock star. And I think that's a new title now because you got either rock or you got blues. But the two together, the combination together, I don't think this ever really been done before. And then they got my CD where people saying it looks so traditional right till it'll be a CD that you'll never want to be without it. I'm just hearing all these amazing things. So if I never do another CD, I can say I finally knocked it out the park. I mean, well, I have to take that back. I can finally say Cleopatra knocked it out the park, okay? Like Daddy was calling Lucille his best friend, I think I'm going to have to run around now and tell the story about Cleopatra's record becoming my best friend.
Well, you know, cheers to Cleopatra, but cheers to you and whoever sat down, and I'll ask you how you made the selection of the wonderful classic songs that are on this album. And we'll get into the all-star lineup as well. But you are singing your heart out, and it shows musically diverse how well you are and how you selected so great classics. Feeling Alright, Gallows Pole, That's Alright Mama, Can't Find My Way Home is one of my favorites. Etta James, At Last. I mean, tell me the process, Shirley, on how you decided or who helped you or how that process went to say, you know what, I'm going to do, these are the songs I'm going to do, and then I'm going to match, you know, an all-star lineup to help me out with that. How did it all come about, Shirley?
I would like to do that in one word. I didn't pick the song, Cleopatra picked them.
Okay.
I didn't select the top players, John Lasson. I only sung on a track and sent it back to Cleopatra's records, and everything was done right from there. The little musician they used on there, I never met anybody that I'm working with. Can you believe this? I'm working with a hit CD, and I've never met anybody face-to-face that I'm working with on this CD. I've never met the people from Cleopatra's records. I never met John. I've never met none of the guitar players.
It is.
See that?
You never met Joe Louis Walker? I think when I talked to Joe, your dad was Joe's godfather.
Well, that's why I kept trying to wonder, out of all these so-called famous guitar players that said they was my daddy's friend, why nobody has tried to help me? I mean, most people, I know my daddy would have did it, you know. I wouldn't say that he was the reason for Shamika Copeland being on his show, but, you know, and some of the other young guys that I met first, and then when I knew anything, they were playing with B.B. King. But Nobody did. Nobody reached out to try to do anything with Shirley King after my dad passed. Joe Louis Walker called me. I didn't know that. You just told me something I didn't know. So I see now why he was concerned about me. He called me after my daddy passed. He asked me how I was doing. And I told him, I was going through this thing because everything was going bad on my daddy's estate. And he showed concern. Then he tried to get his agent to start booking me, but that didn't work out because they gave me a contract that I wasn't sure of, and I didn't have a lawyer, so I didn't sign it.
Good girl.
So now I know now why Joe is the only one that reached. If he was B.B. King's godson, he's acting like a godson because he sure did reach out and tried to help me. And for us to all come back in this full circle, and for him to have 2 songs on my CD, and where he's also promoting me on his stuff, and people are talking about him and me now, I'm going to add that to the story. I didn't know that. I just thought he was just a good friend of my father. I did not know that.
I got to meet Joe. In fact, he lives over here, right in my town here in New York, and I didn't know that until I met him, and I interviewed him, and I read, about him being, or your dad being his godson, and when I interviewed him, and I brought it up, and I saw the pictures, and I'm like, wow, man, Joe, that is amazing. So yeah, that tells you learned something today. Joe is featured on All My Lovin', and he's featured with Junior Wells, Hoodoo Man Blues, and Joe is a terrific guy, very well respected, just a wonderful human being, so I can certainly see the connection and the care of trying to help you and the love that he's offering because of the connection with your dad. No doubt about that.
I did not know that. Oh my God, so I do have a big brother playing the blues, and I can go out in the world and brag about it now and say, yeah, my brother is a famous blues singer too. Oh my God, because none of my father's kids, sons or daughter, nobody plays a guitar. Nobody. So I can see my daddy wanting somebody that he feels like, hey, I think I'm going to get behind this kid because he's going to be pretty good one day. Oh, my God. So I do have a brother playing the blues. I did not know that.
Yeah, you got a great brother playing the blues, and once maybe we get away from this lockdown and we get live shows back together, I would definitely reach out to John and Joe, and maybe I see a little Shirley King opening up for brother Joe Louis Walker down the road. That would be a lot of fun.
Well, actually, Joe and his friends are already talking, and he's already saying that, and he still haven't told me the reason he's looking out for me so well, that my daddy has him as a son, so that would make him my brother. And I was wondering, he was the only one called me and said, how are you doing? And tried to help me, and it didn't work out. And all of a sudden now he ended up on the CD. This is the first time I ever heard that. You are the first person.
Yeah. All right. Well, he is a blues.
I'll be on Facebook blowing that up now. I'm going to go and do Facebook Live. I'm going to blow that up now.
He is a Blues Hall of Fame guitarist, and he had the honor of performing on 2 of your dad's albums. And, I see here, now I had the distinct honor and privilege of playing on his daughter's album, Shirley, who was also my dear friend. Keeping the thrill going on for Shirley, and that's a quote I'm reading from a press release. So you definitely got to reach out to Joe Louis Walker. That is awesome.
He was supposed to be playing here in Chicago before all this stuff happened, and I was so hyped up because all I can remember, somebody showed me love when I didn't have my dad no more. That's all I really wanted. My family wasn't talking to me. My own 2 kids don't even talk to me. So for Joe to reach out and do that, I just been bragging about that. But now I got something to show up, stick my chest out and brag about. I'm going to get really busy on every interview after this one. I'm going to talk about that because I did not know that.
Well,
I knew he was somebody that had did some stuff with my dad. I know he was somebody like many others that been coattails in on my daddy. But I did not know that he was carrying that title. his godson. I did not know that. So it's going to be big deals to see me and Joe out there on the road together. The whole world is going to be talking about that.
I can't wait for you guys to come to New York, because I'm going to be at that show, and we're going to have a really good time. Shirley, when did you first realize? How old were you when you first realized who Dad really was? Besides, there's Dad on the road again. There's Dad playing guitar. When did it really dawn on you who B.B. King really is and why everybody loved him so much?
Well, I'm a little ashamed to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you because it is very funny how people will, how does it feel to be B.B. King, blah, 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 blah. And I look at them and like, how does it feel for your dad to be your daddy? I feel like the same way for me. Because when you're a kid growing up, that's daddy. So you're not looking from the famous part, no matter he's doing these shows, he's playing with all these famous other people. But I would find myself going to the shows being hyped to see James Brown, Jackie Wilson, and Sam Cooke. So that's who I was looking at as famous. And it took me moving to Chicago, getting deeply involved with the blues here in Chicago, seeing my dad's name get bigger and bigger, because you got to remember now, my dad's name was floating around all these many years, but his name grew up when he was about 6 to 8. I mean, that's when he got with Sid Steinberg and went to go on with all these rock stars and playing for the president. That all happened later on. So that's when it hit me, when I started looking at pictures of my dad with different presidents and seeing him on TV shows and seeing people talking about him all over the world. That's when it hit. It did not hit when I was a kid, because he was just daddy. He was my daddy.
Right.
I didn't see him. Other people saw him. And it took that. And now I see him even greater, because I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people that have took my father's hand, if they are still around, going to be able to come up and tell me some B.B. King stories. And they might do like you did today. They might tell me something that I didn't know that would inspire me to be extra happy. I'm extra happy about finding this out about Joe Louis Walker. Extra.
I can't tell you how many rock artists that I talk to, that I'm blessed to talk to and promote and play their new music on the radio and share the chat on my podcast worldwide. And I got to tell you, there's rocker Ted Nugent would tell me the story when he met B.B. King in Detroit, and B.B. brought him on stage, and he says, because I always ask, what would be your most memorable experience, and hands down, how many of them relate to your dad as if it wasn't for B.B. King? I don't know how many times I've heard those words on how much of a terrific soul he was in helping other artists and being an influence, and just because it's all about the blues. It really is. I mean, there's all genres. We're classic rock. But you know what, Shirley? It's all about the blues. It all starts from way back. And every rock star that I talk to will always tell you that. Even country, folks in country and rhythm and blues and, the Stevie Wonders and Smokey Robinson. It's all about the blues. So, yeah, I guess when like you said, you grew up and that was your dad, until you realized way down that who he really was. So I never got a chance to meet him.
I realized it a little bit when I was growing up, because my dad has always been famous to the Afro-American people. It wasn't that they liked the blues. For some strange reason, they liked B.B. King. People tell you in a minute, I don't like no blues, but I love B.B. King.
Right.
People are like, wait a minute now. I think B.B. King said he played the blues, but I understand what they were talking about, because my daddy was more than an artist. He was a personal person that showed so much of love. He knew that people respected him because he respected them. I saw my daddy give more love to the people that supported him than people he knew, because the people that he knew wanted some money or was coming around for something other than he was famous. But fans were coming because they loved and supported him. And I saw fans start out with him when he was young and they were young. And then later on, when he was sitting in a chair and coming out in the wheelchair, they were coming in and walkers and stuff still coming to the show. So I know my dad was past being that artist. And not one person I ever met don't have a B.B. King story. That's why I can't wait to do my Supper Club touring date. Because what I'm going to do, I'm going to select some date where it's going to be more acoustic type, me doing something. So I'm going to love people telling me about their B.B. King stories. Because not one person I ever met in my life, I don't care who they are, politics, a minister, somebody go to church, I don't care. Everybody has a B.B. King story. And they all make you want to cry because it shows you how hard my daddy wanted to be loved by the world.
Absolutely. And I'm sure it was not a hard decision when someone says, hey, we need a guitar player that we want on Shirley King's album. Hands down, every one of these fantastic, coolest, nicest guys that are on your tracks, in a heartbeat, no doubt about it, said, send me the track, I'm playing on it. I get when I look at the names of Pat Travers, Martin Barre, Robben Ford, Junior Wells, I mean, I'm going, wow, that is awesome. That is really cool. Shirley, I got to say, what I love most about, a lot of musicians is folks always giving back. And here on the note, it says Shirley has worked with kids as an artist in residence with the highly acclaimed Urban Gateway Arts in school programs in Chicago.
It was Urban Gateway. And
yes.
They're getting over on the little time they kept me when they didn't see how important I was, because I was packing their assembly every time I went somewhere and played. But they got rid of me because people started coming there wanting to see me perform all the time. And they said, well, we got other artists. And people were saying, we don't care. We want to see Shirley King, because they thought B.B. King might eventually show up. So I did wonderful work with Urban Gateway, and when I saw that it was going to become competitive, I had a young lady to get with me. She went to one of my Blues in the School programs and saw what I was doing, created a whole book around B.B. King and Booker White and Shirley King presenting Blues in the School. I have a curriculum that people can use to book me to do their Blues in the School. That's how much. And every time I had a chance, when I was doing the outdoor stuff where kids could play, I would always end up with a young band that would meet me, know that I would give them a chance to play, and I would take them all over the city. Now, most of my bands, when I was doing outdoors concerts, were young kids, 15, 16, 17 years old, and some of them was pretty darn good.
Shirley, how did people get a hold of you to get you involved with the Blues in the School program? Is it on your website?
Actually, I think all that's going to be done through John, because, like I say, most of the people that's calling me going to end up calling John back anyway. And I kind of blew my stuff up because many people that know me here in Chicago, they know about me performing. I had a whole high school jazz band to bag up the second CD I did. There's 3 songs on there that was arranged and played by high school kids. Why I Sing the Blues, The Thrill Is Gone, and Every Day I Have the Blues. They did the arrangement, and people had nerve enough to ask me, how did you get a orchestra to play blues with you? I said, well, when you go to the right school and pick the right kids, you got it. I mean, I had a whole orchestra on 3 of my songs on that second CD, the Daughter of the Blues CD. So this working with the kids and bringing the blues to the kids have been wonderful for me. I was reading letters the other day where kids sent me letters after I left the performance to tell me how much they love the blues now and how they might grow up and have a blues band. I ran into 3 of the kids that they had saw me perform, and I let them come up on the stage with me. Now they have their own blues band. And I get a chance to hear them talking about coming to see me and being inspired to do the blues.
Well,
so That's one of, besides my dad and being my dad, that's the other greatest thing that ever happened to me in my life, to get in a situation where I was able to go to school and perform blues for kids.
Well, I thank you for that. I applaud you, and that makes me want to support you even more. Anybody that gives back to help out, to expose the children of our world today and the history and the culture of blues and music. I mean, I take my shirt off my back for you and all those folks out there. So thank you for doing that. That means a lot. That says a lot about you as a person as well.
But you know, after a while, people see something you doing good, then everybody, after a while, all the festivals start doing some part of their program, having blues in the school type things at the festival. But, you know, they couldn't work the can like I was doing, because I was on purpose. You know, I almost lost my job from doing that. But then the people saw it was working so good, they created a stage for the kids to come and play blues, like the grown-ups had a stage. They had a stage set up for kids to do blues music, and the kids was coming to see other kids. That idea was inspired for me out of Aurora, Illinois, with the Aurora Blues Fest. The guy that was getting ready to be in charge of the Aurora Blues Festival, he came to one of my concerts and saw how the kids liked me, and then when they would hire me, they would see all these kids showing up with guitars and stuff, wanting to get on the stage and jam with me. And that inspired them to set up a kids stage. Then other people started doing it. And I was looking through some of my reviews the other day, because I got bags and bags full of things that I've done. That's why when people say, well, I didn't know B.B. King has, where you been? Get your head out from under the rock. Shirley Houston, I did a performance for all Channel Festival. If you don't forget, let me start putting these reviews on Facebook so you can start reading back. You know, that's the only way I can do it. But, I mean, the thing is that our kids at first was coming to festivals being drugged there because of their parents. And the kids wasn't enjoying the music going on because it was old folks, what they thought old folks music that they couldn't have fun by. And if they wasn't kids that were doing music, that wasn't, you know, that wasn't nothing kids wanted to come and be at all day. But what they started doing, they started having face painting and doing stuff like that. And I'm like, are you serious? Why would you be inviting kids to come to hear blues, but you got to pacify them with having their face painted? Now they walk around looking stupid, so that means the real teenagers are not going to come. Kids don't mind having that done. But real teenagers ain't coming to no place that they can't relate to. So I started energizing my show. I started making it where when kids came to see me, if I'm singing Mojo Working, I'm making so much of energy and fun. Then I call them up on stage and tell them to do the Mojo dance with me. And then kids start asking me, what is a Mojo? So now you got kids asking questions. Once you get somebody interested in something, they'll find out, maybe I do like it. Let me check it out. Then I start telling kids, all y'all in here can sing the blues. Now, that really made them laugh because, you know, they looking at blues as old folks music, right?
Right.
Very performance I did. I brought kids up on the stage, and I told them I was going to let them sing their own blues song because they was like, I don't know no blues. I don't know the blues. I said, it's all right. You can sing the blues. I said, I'm going to give you an example, and I want you to go with this example. I said, supposing you got up to eat your cereals, and your mama forgot to get milk, and now you got to eat your cereals with water. Oh, the kids just fall out on the floor and start rolling. They thought that was so funny. So here's the kid wanting to be seen. Here's the kid, probably the class clown. I done got them up there. I didn't even know they was the class clown. I done got them up there, and they feel inspired now. I woke up this morning, da-da-da-da. I looked in the cabinet, da-da-da-da. My mama didn't get no milk, no. Now I got to eat my cereal with some water. I got the blues. Now they realize, oh, boy, that was easy. I think I can sing the blues. Now I can't get rid of them. They come to the first assembly. They trying to sneak back into the second assembly because they done had so much fun. Mm-hmm. So it was so much a pleasure going into these schools, showing kids the blues and seeing them want to get involved. It was just amazing.
Good.
When I go around the young kids, I give them things to do that fit their level. You know, I would have them to take a stick or something and act like they playing the guitar. I call it the air guitar. Or either I would show the kids how to sing the blues. And kids love that. They love learning something new. And then when they go to asking you questions about B.B. King or did B.B. King ever take you anywhere? Well, you know, they start interviewing. You know, I've had a few shows I went on where the kids did the whole interview thing. And I kept all that. So I got all my records. I got all my files. I got letters that kids wrote me for going there. And everywhere I ever performed, there are people that will come tell me about how well they kids remember me from being at the festival.
That is awesome. What a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing that, Shirley, and thank you for stepping up to the plate and getting kids involved. It probably, you could relate to it, because I see here at the age of 13, you met musical legend Etta James. So, in essence, yeah, I'm sure when you met her and watching her sing, you're going, wow. So you're doing the same thing for these kids.
Well, that's another story that it got a little mixed up. I saw Etta James. I saw her, and she was not a people person, so she wasn't meeting nobody. You know what I mean? And one time I told my dad, I said, Daddy, I said, you famous like Etta James, and she be on all your shows, she be on a lot of shows too. Could you hook me up with Etta James? You know what my father told me? He said, baby, Etta James be on my shows. Every year I do that blues festival thing, and she don't even speak to me. So I can't help you with that. He said, I can't, because Etta's just that kind of person. She wasn't a people person. When she would do her performance, she had somebody standing right by the stage. They take her right on to her dressing room.
Wow.
I got a chance to talk to Etta James one time before she left this earth. And that was through my son that went out there and was hanging out with my dad. And some kind of way, my son made Etta James like him, but Etta James didn't even speak to my dad. So I don't know what charm my son used on her, but he had her talking to him, and he asked her, because he knew how much I loved Etta James, right? He had her to call me on one of my birthdays and wish me a happy birthday.
Wow.
She was just saying all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I admire you. I'm one of your heroes. And I'm thinking, Miss James, I know you're lying, but just say whatever you want to say to me, because I'm about to faint right now just talking to you. I mean, that was like, you know, nobody will know the feeling of finally connecting with somebody you idolize. You probably never thought that would happen. And to have her on the phone wishing me a happy birthday, I could never, ever forget that. That's as close as I got the other day. And my father said, she don't even speak to me, and she on tours with me. And she used to be my ex-girlfriend. I said, your ex-girlfriend? Why you didn't marry her? I was like, damn, she could have been my mama. She was a very unique person, but she had the talent that I always said. She would be a singer. You couldn't put her in a box. Etta James go blues on you. She can go Chicago blues. She go soul, R&B, jazz, rock, country. That was one female that was a complete package. And that made me totally admire her, because she did everything I someday wished I could have did.
Well, you keep hitting the ball out of the park. Don't think you can't. You certainly are on a mission having this great album, and you included. I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite song on the album? And I guess it might be At Last.
Well, I would like. The reason it's not At Last, because I was very intimidated to sing her song. I know a lot of her other songs, but to sing that song, I've never wanted to hear. I don't care how good somebody thinks they sound. I've never wanted to hear anybody sing At Last but Etta James. So to step in there to try to do something that I only wanted to see her do, I felt like that was going to be a very stressful situation for me. And I told John, I said, I can't sing this like Etta James, but I'm going to just sing it the way Shirley King can sing. He said, that's all I want you to do. My favorite song on that CD is the Junior Wells song, because it's where I'm at. It's the blues. It's the hoochie coochie type of blues that I can go on the stage and sing and put an act to it. So that's my favorite song. Then I got infatuated and fell in love with Find My Way Home because of all the stuff I'm going through since my father died. That ended up being a heartfelt song that now I can relate to because it's been so hard trying to live my life since my daddy left this earth. I had him so long. I had my dad all my life. So it was like,
Shirley,
I'm trying to now find my way back home.
That's a beautiful, one of my favorite songs. Shirley, what's the best advice that he gave you when you said, you know, I want to get involved in this music business? What's the best advice he said to you?
Well, actually, he gave me his consent when I said I wanted to dance because he was coming to Chicago a lot because he had a manager here. And he would be here very often and play with a lot of different blues people, Lonnie Brooks and, you know, Lefty Diaz. When all those guys were living, hollering, whooping up, he would be here a lot in Chicago. But as he got more famous, his one stop was in Chicago. But when I first got into the business, my father asked me to promise him two things. And that was that getting involved in the business as a dancer, he knew what kind of life that could be because he was out here in the life. And he didn't want me to do what he probably knew, you know, could happen when you're a female entertainer.
Right.
So he asked me not to do drugs, and he asked me not to get involved with pimps. Now, pimps were his best friends because they would get clothes to sell to him. They would look out for him. If he needed a nice-looking girl, they looked out for that. But they all ended up respecting my dad to the point where none of the pimps would try to mess with me because they knew B.B. King, and they know that ain't what would make him happy. And in order for them to keep selling clothes, making money from him, they wasn't going to do that. So I was able to surpass not getting involved with that. I never did drugs my whole 49 years of being in the business. So I kept my promise to my dad, and that made him so happy. So after he saw that I could keep two promises, he didn't even worry about me doing the rest. He just kept getting all these good reports about me. People would come see my show and tell them, oh, your daughter reminds me of you. Oh, my daughter, your daughter acts just like you on stage. And when people started saying that, I can just imagine him here. Remember when you were saying you wanted to be a boy so you could be like me? Look how much you like me, and you still a female. So the one advice that I would say that made me live my life a little bit different compared to to having a father like B.B. King, that I always wanted to do something so respectful. So when people went back and talked to him, he would feel proud of me doing what I'm doing. Because he know, you could easily get on drugs. He know that there were a lot of bad things could happen to you in being in the show business. And he didn't know if I was strong enough to do it. Because he called me wimpy. He said I was wimpy. He said, you let people hurt your feelings too much.
Well, good things happen to good people, Shirley, and I can hear the love in your voice and your enthusiasm, and I'm happy for you with this album, and I can't wait to play more tracks of the album. It's called Shirley King's Blues for a King. It's available on all the digital outlets, and I encourage everyone to go out and buy it. It's such a great, diverse of awesome tracks featuring awesome artists that are featured on these songs with Shirley. And Shirley, I can't thank you enough for your time. I can't wait to meet you and give you a big hug.
Oh, I can't wait to meet you either, because I'm going to hug you so hard, you going to say, hold up, coochie coochie woman. I'm going to say, shut your mouth, voodoo man, and take these big old hugs. And don't touch them hips, because they don't belong to you.
I love it, Shirley. I love it. I can't wait for you to tell everybody about Joe Louis Walker as well. I'm happy I was the first.
God. I am so happy about that. I'm going to call John and say, John, you forgot to mention to me that was my brother. Y'all, see, not long I've been wanting to hear somebody say that my dad took him up under their wing as a son. He took all these other 14 kids that don't even really like me. And here's the one that he didn't put with this 15, and that's the one that's coming back to get me. Oh, my God. And I don't know if I don't know if I'm older than Joe Louis Walker, but now I'm going to start doing some research on him because we're going to be able to blow up beautiful on stage talking about this.
Yeah,
This is a great story to tell.
I think it's an excellent story, and Joe will be excited. And Joe's got a new album out as well, so timing is.
We'll promote our music together. I mean, our music is. Joe is saying something about my CD on his promotion. I'm blowing his stuff up on my promotion, and I'm doing it because I'm thinking how great a friend he was to my father. Now that I done found out he's my god brother, ooh, I'm finna post him much as I post myself and my dad.
Well, there you go. Well, again, Shirley, thank you so much for your time today. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as I have.
I tell you what, I could talk to you all day because you making me laugh and I'm making you laugh, and we just are laughing together.
Well, let me tell you, sweetheart, we're going to talk more, and I can't wait to meet you and see you, and we're going to, don't worry about it now. Now I got connected with you. We're going to chat a lot more, and anything you need that I can help you out, you just get a hold of John or you call me direct, and I'm there for you.
Oh, I hear that, and I thank you so much, and God bless you, and I want you to know that my love for you is just growing and growing and growing.
Well, we love you, Shirley. Right here doesn't get any better than this. Shirley King on WBXO, where we're classic rock and we're redefined, and we're on Pat's Sound Bites Unplugged.